everybody. Welcome. Here we go. It is that time again, or that time again, for our Canadian listeners online. Here we go. It's Matt Connarton Unleashed. We are live from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM in glorious downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Also on Comcast 97 if you're in Manchester. Hello to all of our online listeners across the nation and around the globe. You can go to my website, mattconnerton.com, for all of your live streaming options, social media links, contact info, show archives, etc., etc. Today is Tuesday, May 23rd, 2023. So nice to have you all with me. By the way, the opening track that I played, that was Alberta from the band Trevino, or El Trevino. You can find them online both ways. They're on Spotify as just Trevino. But if you missed yesterday's show, we had Derek Relaford from the band Skype in from Phoenix, and we had a great discussion. And I love that band so much, so I wanted to play one of their songs to open the show today. Alberta they got 11 or 12, I think, songs on the album, but that's one of my favorites. So I wanted to open today with that. I just think they're amazing. And Derek and I had a great discussion. So if you did miss the show, I suggest you go back and check the archive. I think you might enjoy it. And we have an exciting show for you today. We have a musical guest coming up in the second hour. Hour number 2, Numero Dos, live in studio. Cody Pope and Byron G will be coming in. It's been a while since we've had some live hip-hop on the show. It's been quite a while, actually, so I'm really looking forward to that. Cody Pope I have interviewed before, I think a couple of times over the years, so I've known him for a while. I don't think I've met Byron G, so today I will meet him. And really looking forward to that. They're going to come in. They're going to perform live in studio. They got a drum machine, and they're going to do a little set for us, and then after that, we'll talk. So really looking forward to that. So that will be coming up today in hour number 2 of the program. And in hour number 1, we'll see what other shenanigans we can get into. But the studio line is open, 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007. You can also text us at 617-917-4476. I'm on social media at Matt Connarton. You can email me, matt@mattconnerton.com. And, of course, you can interact and opine in the Facebook live chat, and we will say hello to everybody in there in just a moment. But the best thing to do so that we can hear and fully enjoy your dulcet tones is to give us a call at 603-250-6007. Let's see. Let's go ahead and say hello to everybody in the Facebook live chat, and then we'll get into some stuff. Let's see here. We've got Charles Richardson from the state of Florida. Florida's, I don't know if you all have noticed, but Florida has been in the news quite a bit lately. Charles says, good afternoon. Get ready for the Ron DeSantis presidential train tomorrow and pray to God it gets derailed. Now, Charles, one thing about that, and I don't know if you are a religious man, but, I did go to, I haven't been to church in a long time, to the chagrin of my father, of course, who does listen to the show. So, but I believe, and Shannon and I had a conversation about this recently. I think, now I could be wrong about this. Again, I haven't been to church in a while, but I believe theologically you are not supposed to ask God for things like train derailments or for people to be harmed in any way. I think that these are things you're not supposed to ask for. Now, I'm not saying that I've never, myself perhaps initiated something with the Lord and said, hey, if by chance something horrible should happen to Vladimir Putin, I wouldn't mind personally, just put my 2 cents in. But I think you're really not supposed to do that. I think you're supposed to pray for positive things, good healing things. And I don't think you're supposed to pray for a train to derail. Having said that, the Lord works in mysterious ways. We shall see. And apparently, Governor DeSantis of Florida is announcing on Twitter, and he's doing something with Elon Musk, which seems like, I don't know, to me, that seems like it might be a little bit of a middle finger to Trump, because I thought Trump and Elon were cozy for a while there. Elon did reinstate Trump on Twitter after all. Not that Trump actually really uses Twitter, because he has his own thing, the Truth Social. But yes, Governor DeSantis, I think Chris Christie is rumored to be announcing this week as well, but I'm not sure. But yes, Governor Ron DeSantis is going to be getting in, and the announcement will be on Twitter. Let's see. JFed is in the chat room, as well as Melanie La Liberty from the great state of Vermont. Hello, the Green Mountain State. Let's see. JFed says, I hope there is some bass pumping. I assume you mean during our musical guests in the second hour there, Cody Pope and Byron G. I would imagine there will be some pumping bass. We shall see. Melanie says, you haven't been to church because it burns when you enter the building? How dare you? Why would that be? I am a very good boy. I am. I'm actually, I always say I'm so clean, I'm actually boring. I'm not saying I am without sin. None of us are without sin. But, I don't do terrible things like put pineapple on pizza, for example, as we've discussed on the show. That's a sin, I believe. Never do that. You won't catch me doing that. Fredo joins us in the Facebook live chat, or I do so love to say his full name, as you know, Alfredo Enrique Benavides. He says, yo, and we will be seeing Fredo here in studio with us, I believe later in the month. Is it this month or next month? I forget when the exact date is. But looking forward to that, as always. And Fredo says, shout out to all my Connartonites. Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Melanie also said in the chat room, and instead of praying, you could actually do something that would help, like voting. I know it's a radical idea. Yes, that is a good idea, actually. Not terribly radical. I encourage people to vote. Melanie says, sin is a made-up concept by those looking to control the masses. Hence, I am not a sinner. Aha! I see. You have found a loophole. Well, I don't want to get into a deep theological discussion because we have other things to discuss, like the debt limit. Now, yesterday on the show, we did talk about it somewhat, and I had intended to return to the subject in the second hour, but my conversation with Derek Relaford of the band El Trevino went longer than I anticipated, because not only did we talk about his music, but we talked about the podcast that he does about his hometown, Elkhart, which has apparently a ridiculously high murder rate for a small place. But we'll I did see something reassuring on the debt limit right before I came on the air today that we'll look at. Fredo says in the chat room, there's definitely a correlation between states that have lower voter turnout and lower standard of living. Yes, true. Absolutely. Crystal, our friend from the great state of Illinois, joins us and says, hello, everyone. Hello, Crystal. Now, I saw something. Now, this surprised me. When I look for, when I'm stressed, when I'm worried about something, and I look for comfort, for some comforting words, some reassurance. Someone that I would not think to look for these things, I would not look to for these things would be Mitch McConnell, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. I would not look to him. But if you are a regular listener of the show, I am deeply concerned about the debt limit and that we are about to go over the fiscal cliff on what they ominously refer to, what the Treasury ominously refers to as the X date, the date when we're out of money and we can't borrow anymore because our elected lawgivers and overlords, as I like to call them, have decided, what the heck, we're just going to go ahead and push the self-destruct button on the global economy and see what happens as we careen toward that fate. But reassurance has arrived, my friends. I hope you find this as comforting as I do, because Mitch McConnell, again, not someone I would look to for reassurance and comfort. He says, according to thehill.com, McConnell on possibility of default, quote, everybody needs to relax, unquote. That sounds good to me, Mitch. I would love to relax about this. I would love to just chill and not give it another thought or worry. I would love that. Let's see. Now, I have not pre-read this, so let's see what he says in here. Oh, apparently, looking at this, scanning through it, he goes on to say everyone needs to chillax, which is even better. That's even better than relaxing. Chillaxing. I believe that's a combination of chill and relax. The young people say that. Mitch has picked up some young lingo. I used to think chillax meant when you take an axe and you put it in your freezer. But no, I'm okay. That part I'm kidding about. And when I say I'm kidding, I mean I'm kidding about him saying chillax. I don't mean I'm kidding about thinking that it was when you put an axe in the freezer. I actually thought that's what it meant. Okay, it says here. Now let's see. Let's get into deeper into what Mitch had to say. I'm not calling him Senator McConnell like I would normally. I'm just calling him Mitch because I find him in this moment, I find him a source of comfort and reassurance. Let's see what our friend Mitch has to say. Again, this is from thehill.com. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, Republican of Kentucky, tried to calm fears of a possible debt default today, pleading with everyone to, quote, relax, unquote. As talks continue between the White House and the House GOP negotiators ahead of the likely June 1 deadline. Quote, I think everybody needs to relax, unquote, McConnell told reporters in his home state. Hey, by the way, I just had a thought. You know, if you're a regular listener, you might know this about me. I'm a certified hypnotherapist, and I often, obviously, of course, as even if you've never been hypnotized, you would probably guess this, that one of the things I say to my clients when I bring them into a state of hypnosis is I ask them to relax, just relax, just clear your mind and relax. And I wonder how Mitch would do as a hypnotherapist. And would any of you find him calming and relaxing? Would you would you want to be alone in a room with Mitch McConnell for a hypnotherapy session? Probably not. Anyway, okay, so he says, I think everybody needs to relax. McConnell told reporters in his home state, again reiterating that the nation will not default on its payments, a declaration he's repeated throughout the negotiation process. Quote, the last 10 times we raised the debt ceiling, there were things attached to it. This is not that unusual. It is almost entirely required when you have divided government. Unquote. None of that convinced me, I'm afraid. That, I mean, yeah, you can look at the past and say, well, in the past we always did it, but I'm worried about now. And by the way, you know, President Biden, I think he's also got that same line of thinking. You know, he and Mitch McConnell, they're about the same age. They're both creatures of the Senate, right? Both of them spending many decades in the Senate. McConnell continuing to do so, and of course Biden now president. Biden had become vice president and now president. So I wonder if part of the problem here is they don't understand. They're such institutionalists. I don't think they fully understand what's happening here politically. Because the other thing that's developing today is now you have House Republicans saying they don't believe Janet Yellen, that there's really anything to worry about, that we're actually going to default on June 1st, as early as June 1st. You know, but there's also no excuse for not knowing that this is a real possibility, because look at how close we came in 2011, and both Biden and McConnell were there. Biden was part of the negotiations. He was Obama's vice president at that time. And look how close we came. So close that our bond rating was downgraded, and it did real damage to the economy. And I read some numbers just recently about, in terms of jobs that were lost, just because we came so close, and it shakes the global economy, or it shakes the faith of other countries in terms of the global economy, it shakes their faith in the United States. I mean, this whole thing is based on our currency, right? Everything's measured against the dollar, and I wonder if there's something there where these guys, and again, McConnell's comments makes me wonder if it's the same thing that I think is wrong with Biden, and Biden is, I've been very critical of both the Democrats and Republicans on this. I think you've got the Republican House Freedom Caucus. They used to be the Tea Partiers back in 2011. Now they're the House Freedom Caucus, and some of them would actually be perfectly happy to default. Some of them are actually pro-default. We have the Republican frontrunner for president, who apparently is pro-default from what he was saying at the town hall. He says, might as well. Why not? You might have a bad day or a bad week, but then it's fine. Just crazy stuff, right? I don't know if Biden or McConnell, and it's McConnell's own party, I don't know if either of them quite realizes what they're dealing with here. I think it's possible that Biden actually, did he really believe when he said months ago that, no, we're not negotiating on this at all? And this House needs to pass a clean raise of the debt ceiling, and that's it, and not attach anything else to it. We can argue about the budget separately, but they need to pass a clean debt limit bill to raise the ceiling. Did he really believe that? And that's because this is where, and again, I've been critical of both. I mean, first of all, I'm critical of the Republicans because I'm sick of them playing this game with the global economy. And we got into that yesterday a bit. And I wanted to circle back and talk about Biden's role in this, and then we ran out of time. But I'll just mention it here. If Biden really believed, as I have to assume that he did, that he could just demand that the Republicans were going to just give him what he wanted and lift the debt ceiling clean, which, again, as I always say on the show, in principle is the correct position. In principle. I don't believe that anything should be attached to the debt limit. Even Trump had this right when he was president. That was Trump's position when he was president. We don't use the debt limit as a negotiation wedge. I think were his exact words. It's reckless, it's stupid, and we're not going to do that ever. And he had the right position. Now he's done a complete 180. Now he's like, yeah, go ahead, default, fine. We'll have a bad day or a bad week, whatever. It'll be great. That's what he said during the CNN town hall. Anyone who doesn't believe me, you can go look it up. Just crazy talk. But, Biden, so then he didn't want to talk. He didn't want to talk to McCarthy because his position was he took a hard line. No, we're not negotiating on this. Did he really think that they were just going to cave? You've got, in Kevin McCarthy, you've got a speaker who had to effectively give all his power away to the House Freedom Caucus to get elected speaker. 15 attempts. Oh, yeah, as Fredo's pointing out now in the chat room, McCarthy is the weakest speaker in decades because of his slim majority and band of reckless extremists he's sold power to in order to get his seat. Exactly. Perfectly put, Fredo. Perfectly put. Does Biden not understand that? Because the other element to this is, you have to remember, okay, we might wake up one day to the news, hey, they got a deal. Great. Biden and McCarthy settled on something. But then they have to sell it to their own party members. And it's going to be harder. I mean, it's going to be hard for Biden because progressives in the Democratic Party they don't want Biden to give up anything, and they want him to just go with, well, actually some moderates too just want him to go with the 14th Amendment and take that risk because they don't think it's a risk. I do. They don't. But McCarthy's got to go back and sell this to the Republicans in the House. And I don't think, for the reasons that Fredo just pointed out, I don't know that it's going to be easy. And we're rapidly running out of time here. We are rapidly running out of time. So, but this to me, and again, I find myself saying this a lot. I don't mean to be ageist. I really don't. But this to me is actually, I would say, the best example yet of why Biden needs to step aside and let somebody else, in terms of, I don't mean he should resign the presidency. I just mean in terms of running again. And I know he's already announced he's already launched his reelection bid, but the Dems have to put up somebody younger who can see what's coming down the pike. See, because everything that's happening right now, I saw this coming. I knew this was coming. Somehow the president of the United States didn't know it was coming. To put it in very stark terms. Because Fredo says Biden financed his first campaign in beaver pelts. Yeah, he's 80 years old. But he's also an institutionalist, and he's used to the way things used to work. And the way things used to work is you raise the debt limit and you don't flirt with default. And he probably thought that what happened in 2011 when we came that close, that was a once in a lifetime thing. We'd never let that happen again. Everybody learned their lesson when the bond rating was lowered and so forth, right? No. There's no excuse for the way Biden played this. Now, this is, again, I've talked yesterday on the show about, where I blame the Republicans, and I've referred to it today. But where I blame Biden, and this is where, look, there's some things about Biden I do like. Some things I give him credit for. But on this is indefensible. It's unforgivable. He put us all in peril by making the decision to say, no, I'm not negotiating on this, back months ago when he said, no, I'm not negotiating on anything. They need to do the right thing. And again, it would be the right thing. I agree with that. I agree in principle with his position, but in practice, you have to deal with the cards. You got to play the cards you're dealt, right? So knowing you've got a weak speaker in Kevin McCarthy, who is beholden to the House Freedom Caucus, knowing all of this, he says, no, I'm going to take the principled stand and I'm going to say, no, I will not negotiate on the debt limit. It should be a clean bill. Again, correct, but it's not going to work. So now when House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, he gets to say about the president, well, look, what is it, 100 days now? The president said 100 days ago, more than 3 months ago, he said, I'm not going to negotiate. So for 100 days, there was no talk. There was no negotiation because the president said, I'm not going to negotiate. Now here we are. So Biden doing that, Biden refusing to negotiate back then, even talk about it and say, no, we're not negotiating on the debt limit. He handed McCarthy a club that McCarthy gets to use and just club it over Biden's head anytime he wants to. Well, don't blame me. The president, I wanted to talk. He didn't want to talk. What a wonderful political gift he gave to Kevin McCarthy. And now we're in a situation where the Republicans have all the cards. And I'll be honest with you. Now, the bill that the Republicans passed in the House, all the economic analysis that I've seen says that bill as written and the very deep cuts that are in it would actually harm the economy. And there was an analysis I saw today, I'm not talking about, liberal think tanks putting this out. I'm saying economists across the board are saying this, it's so draconian in these cuts that it would actually, I saw one analysis, it would cost the economy about 500,000 jobs at least. Fredo says 22% cuts to Medicare. Oh yeah, it's brutal. It's brutal. Now, obviously that's in terms of negotiating, you start with asking for more than you're going to get, and you kind of work toward the middle. I understand the president doesn't want to, it was a long, hard slog to get things like the Inflation Reduction Act passed, for example. And I understand he doesn't want to give up these legislative gains. But listen, at the end of the day, And this is a very bitter pill to swallow. But again, you have to play the hands you're dealt. If it comes down to a choice between we either do something that even conservative minded economists say could actually harm the economy. I mean, Moody's Analytics, hardly a conservative outfit. They said the Republican bill that was passed would damage the economy. And again, that's a negotiation. You know, you negotiate, which is in theory what's going on now, right? But if it comes down to a stark choice between we either do something that willfully damages the economy or we just go ahead and destroy the entire global economy, well, I'd rather damage it than completely destroy everything. And by the way, for anyone who thinks I'm being hyperbolic, I'm not. When I talk about destroy, this has the potential, if we default, it has the potential to cause a global financial collapse that will make what happened in 2008 look like a picnic and will probably be closer on scale to the Great Depression. So, you know, if in other words, this is my long-winded way of saying, if Biden has to swallow that very bitter pill and give in a lot more than he wants to, and the Democrats have to give in a lot more than they want to, thanks to the way that Biden has played this, which is shows a degree of incompetence that I find stunning, to be frank with you, absolutely stunning. You know, we're gonna have to. Again, I'd rather give away more than anyone wants to, and damage the economy than risk just blowing the whole thing up. Global economic Armageddon is my last choice. You know what I mean? Ron is on the line. Hi, Ron.
Hi, Matt. Yeah, I've been sitting here watching you. I was wondering how long it was going to take you to pick up that pen.
To pick up what?
Pick up the pen. You were going for quite a while without the pen in your hand.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I got it now.
You got it now. Hey, listen, I wouldn't want you to go off topic because this is a very important topic, and I'm all ears. I'm trying to pick up on whatever I can. But did you ever find out anything about the whistleblowers?
I've read up a little bit about it, yeah. I don't want to get into it right now because I want to see what else Mitch McConnell and his soothing words had to offer. But yeah,
sure.
But we'll look at it this week. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great. And one more thing, if you could look at in the near future or whenever, I happened to watch 60 Minutes 2 weeks ago, and there was something that I really didn't understand, but it was like the treasurers of all churches have like billions and billions and billions of dollars. And they're like Trump. They won't explain what to do, where it's held, what they do with it, what it's spent on. It's a big hush-hush thing. And that, too, had a whistleblower. There was a guy that was on there, and he just said, this is wrong. It's thievery. And I don't know if that rings a bell in any way to you or your other listeners, if you know anything on that. Obviously, today's not the day, but that was my other thing. I was like, wow.
Yeah, not a clue, but I'll look at it. Sounds interesting.
All right, my friend.
All right, Ron, thanks for the call.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. All right, that was our friend Ron. That does open up the line for you, 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007. Let's see. Getting back to this, thehill.com, it says here, McConnell also said, quote, regardless of what may be said about the talks, and by the way, not much is being said that's positive. But he said, quote, regardless of what may be said about the talks, the president and the speaker will reach an agreement. It will ultimately pass on a bipartisan vote of both the House and Senate. The country will not default, unquote. I like his confidence. I don't believe that's where we're headed. I mean, honestly, now, listen, I don't want to be doom and gloom. I know some of you are probably thinking it's a little late, Matt. No, listen, honestly, here's what I think happens. I don't think they reach an agreement. I have no faith in that at this point. I honestly don't. But I do think that Biden will try to invoke the 14th Amendment and to avoid default. It'll be, break glass, grab the axe or whatever, the chill axe. And then hopefully Lawrence Tribe and others who are advocating for that option, hopefully they turn out to be right. And Janet Yellen doesn't seem to think that'll work, though. And that is very worrisome. But let's look at the rest of this. It says here, McConnell has been a steadfast backer of House Speaker Kevin McCarthy throughout the debt ceiling negotiation and has repeatedly said that President Biden must strike a deal with the Speaker this time around. McConnell had been expected to play a role given his relationship and past dealings with the president, but he has instead remained a supporting character. Given the makeup of Congress, he has maintained that any deal must be hammered out between the White House and House Republicans, and that is where the power lies these days, with the Democrat-controlled Senate playing little role in the debt ceiling discussions. McCarthy was joined by McConnell at the White House for some talks, but those discussions have... See, I'd actually feel... I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'd actually feel better if McConnell was in the room. I really would. I don't mean in the room here with me. That would freak me out. I'd be like, whoa, what are you doing here? No, but I'd feel better if he was in the room for the talks every time. I wish he was taking a larger role here. Anyway, so those discussions have narrowed to teams spearheaded by White House counselor Steve Ricchetti, Office of Management and Budget Director Shalonda Young, and White House Director of Legislative Affairs Louisa Terrell on the Democratic side, and Representatives Garrett Graves, Republican of Louisiana, and Patrick Mahenry, Republican of North Carolina for the GOP. Fredo says, I'd feel better if he stayed in his shell, referring to Mitch McConnell. He does look like a turtle. Talks remain ongoing, although the GOP negotiators complained today that the White House is not showing enough urgency in discussions. See, that kind of thing makes me think. I hear that kind of stuff, and I think they're not going to come to a deal. It's going to be all about the 14th Amendment in the end. I really do think so. Due to the... Oh, and then there's this. I didn't even realize this until recently. Due to the 72-hour rule in the House and the time needed to cobble together legislative text, a deal likely must come together by late this week in order to pass it ahead of the ex-date of June 1 laid out by Treasury Department Secretary Janet Yellen. Yeah, I do not believe that's going to happen. I see no reason to think that's going to happen. So I do think we are, for the first time in our history, going to have to rely on the 14th Amendment. One other thing, it's already 20 of. One other thing regarding I wanted to look at this quickly. This is from Politico. Court sets legal showdown on the debt limit 14th Amendment argument. Justice Department lawyers decline to say whether Biden has the power to defy a debt cap. Let's look at this quickly. This just went up this afternoon. Quote, I'm sorry, no quote. How am I saying quote? I'll say a quote when there's something to quote. Okay, a judge in Boston has ordered a hearing next week on one of the key arguments that President Joe Biden has the legal authority to ignore the debt limit statute and continue to pay the federal government's bills. USDC Court Judge Richard Stearns said a May 31 hearing on a lawsuit. This is already starting. Jesus. Sorry. Let me start that paragraph again. I'm just frustrated by all of this. Judge Richard Stearns said a May 31 hearing on a lawsuit filed by a federal workers union contending that the 14th Amendment empowers Biden and other officials to sidestep the standoff with Congress that has threatened a potential default. Oh, okay. So they're actually supporting him. But what is their standing to bring? I'm a little puzzled by this. I'm glad they're supporting it. So they're saying the 14th Amendment, that's this union's position, the Federal Workers Union. they're contending. Well, yeah, they want to continue to get paid. Okay, I'm glad. But let's see. It says here, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has said the so-called X date for a default could come as soon as June 1, just one day after the scheduled arguments on the National Association of Government Employees' request for a preliminary injunction requiring Yellen to keep paying bills and salaries as usual. Yeah, I mean, federal workers, yeah, if they, I mean, that's the thing you have to understand, too, for anyone who thinks that this isn't a big deal. Or doesn't fully understand what we're talking about, because polling data shows most Americans don't understand this. They think it's like a government shutdown or something. It is not. This is far, far more serious. And a government shutdown is pretty serious. It costs the economy a lot of money. But you got to understand, if we default, federal workers suddenly aren't getting paid. The military suddenly isn't getting paid. Social Security effectively ends. You know, so if you're somebody out there who doesn't like Social Security, well, you might be about to get your wish. If you know, and there are people out there, even though Social Security is the most popular social program that the government administers, that might be about to end. I mean, that's how serious this is. You know, this is none of this is unserious. It says here, during a brief video conference Tuesday morning, so that was this morning, Stearns this part discourages me a little bit. Stearns sounded skeptical of arguments from the union's lawyers that disaster for the nation is impending if he did not put the case on an even faster track. Stearns, an appointee of former President Bill Clinton, said, quote, "If the emergency is as dire as you think it is, I would think that it's within the power of the president to address it using executive branch authority," unquote. Well, that's the thing, though. You can't really use. Trump tried to do that. He tried to send out checks on his own, separate of Congress, and nothing happened. The Treasury didn't send out checks just because Trump said so, because the executive branch doesn't control the money. The legislative branch does. Before setting the May 31 argument date, Stearns said he didn't see the union's request for a decision by June 1 as realistic. Yeah, I mean, kind of last minute there. The judge said, quote, "I understand there are time constraints given that events are developing, probably even as we're meeting, that probably make a decision prior to June 1st impossible," unquote. Stearns did not get a direct answer when he asked Justice Department lawyer Alexander Eli, I think it's Ellie, whether the department disagrees with the central argument in the suit that the 14th Amendment's assurance that U.S. debt shall not be questioned means the president can ignore a statute capping the national debt. Ellie said he was not authorized to stake out a position on that question, and he suggested that the department would argue that the union suit is not a proper vehicle to force DOJ to come to a legal conclusion. He said, quote, "This requires high-level coordination among the U.S. government," unquote. But an attorney for the union, Thomas Geoegan? I'm just going to call him Tommy G. Pointed out that the claims of an imminent cataclysm from a possible default originate with the very officials named as defendants in the suit. Tommy G. Said as he asked the judge to agree to a speedy process, quote, "This is an unusual case in which the defendants are predicting the calamity. The local rules do not take into account that there is a catastrophic looming in this case," unquote. A catastrophe, rather, looming in this case. The union's lawyer also suggested DOJ is playing for time to avoid staking out a position that would have a profound effect on the ongoing talks between the White House and Republican House leaders, which, by the way, is my suspicion about why DOJ has never revealed what the conclusion the OLC came to when they looked at this in 2011. If you file a Freedom of Information Act request, you can't even find out. They will deny it. You can't even find out why the OLC and the DOJ refused to tell Obama at the time that, yes, you can use the 14th Amendment. They advised against it, but they won't say why, and they refuse to say why. It's a secret. I would love to know, although I hope to never have to find out in a sense. But Tommy G said, quote, "What we're faced with, I fear, is that the government doesn't really have a position on this, but there is no time to prevent irreparable injury," unquote. Stearns gave the Justice Department a deadline of May 30 to file a written response that could clarify the government's view on the outer bounds of Biden's authority regarding the public debt. All very exciting. We have time for a one call before the top of the hour if anyone wants to get in. 603-250-6007. 603-250-6007. Let's see. Let's look at the chat room, by the way. A lot of comments in the chat room on the subject. Fredo says Republican congressmen are holding medical care from programs like Medicare all the way up to veterans benefits hostage. If the Republican base actually cared about veterans, their blood would be boiling over Republican congressmen taking away benefits from veterans to make concessions on the debt ceiling. Melanie said regarding Mitch McConnell, if I thought he'd make a good hypnotherapist, Melanie said, "I find his lack of chin and spine distracting, so I'm unable to relax despite his reassurances." Fredo says, "Where were Republicans asking for cuts during Trump? The deficit increased by almost $8 trillion under Darth Tax Evader." I see what you did there, Fredo. Yeah, well, as I always say, I mean, Republicans only care about the deficits and debt when there's a Democrat in the White House. Even a lot of Republicans acknowledge that. Oh, Jenny has joined us in the chat room. She says, "Shalom, peeps." Fredo says, "But McCarthy is the weakest." Oh, I read that comment already. Let's see. Charles Richardson says, "The president didn't know stuff? Shocking." Well, there's no excuse for him not being prepared for this, though. I mean, there really isn't. It's the incompetence of Biden in this, like I said, is absolutely stunning. There's plenty of blame to go around. Crystal in the chat room says, "I think Trump is okay now versus then on the debt ceiling is because if we now default on the debt ceiling, it falls under Biden at the end of the day, and he'll be blamed in history for whatever happened." Right. That's a great point, Crystal. Whatever goes wrong economically, everybody blames whoever's president at the time, even though the economy is obviously much more complex than that. But a perfect example is probably the most remarkable example was in 1992 when George H.W. Bush, after the first Gulf War, after he sent our troops in to kick Saddam and the Iraqis out of Kuwait, he had the highest recorded approval rating in history, coming in at 90%, the highest approval rating in history ever recorded for a sitting president. And I remember having conversations with people after that, other, friends of mine who were very interested in politics. And the consensus was, and of course in the media, the consensus was that, there was no way he would lose re-election, that he would easily cruise to a second term based on the strength of his so easily, 72 hours, that war. And then the economy fell off a cliff and he took the blame. Bill Clinton won the presidency. That's just what happens. So that's why the Republicans are in a no-lose situation here. If they get what they want, they can crow about that in terms of deep cuts. If they don't get what they want, if the economy does if we do go into default, and it is as catastrophic as most economists agree that it would be, and it's the end of the American economy as we know it, well, everyone will blame Biden. Because even though there's plenty of blame to go around, and it will partially be Biden's fault, certainly, but even though there's plenty of blame to go around, everybody just blames the president. People have a hyper-simplified, reductive way of thinking about economics. When the economy's good and they like who's in the White House, they give that person credit. When the economy's good and they don't like that person in the White House, they don't give him credit. The inverse is also true. When the economy's bad, if they like the person in the White House, they have nothing to say. If the economy's bad and they don't like the person in the White House, they blame whoever's in the White House. It's just how it works. So if we default and it's economically catastrophic and we enter another Great Depression, whoever the Republican nominee is wins in a landslide. So but how did Biden not understand all of this months ago when he said, I will not negotiate? So, I mean, he almost deserves to lose, really. Crystal also said, I think both parties are too concerned with tarnishing the historical record of whoever is at the helm when they're the opposing party. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Fredo making a bunch of old jokes about Biden. Those are funny. Oh, hey, Kyle Clayton from The Morning Show with Peter White joins us in the Facebook live chat and says, looking, hey, how are you? Yes, looking at you too, Kyle, except I can't actually see you. You're not on the screen. But I believe our guests have arrived and they are in the hallway. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to, we'll play a little something. Play some hip hop, get us in the mood. And then we'll show some love to our amazing sponsors. And then when we come back, Cody Pope and Byron G will be with us live in studio. They're going to perform for us, and then we'll talk afterward. And I'm really, really looking forward to that. So stick around. Plenty more to come. Welcome back, everybody, as we enter hour number 2, numero dos of Matt Connarton Unleashed. And we are live from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM in glorious downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Also on Comcast 97 if you're in Manchester. And hello to all of our online listeners across the nation and around the globe. You can go to my website, mattconnerton.com, for all your live streaming options, social media links, contact info, show archives, etc., etc. It is Tuesday, May 23rd, 2023, and we have a couple of fine gentlemen here on the couch. We have Cody Pope and Byron G. How are you guys?
Hey, doing great. Thanks so much for having us.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, and you guys are going to perform, and this is very cool. Have you ever performed sitting on a couch before?
Honestly, I think this is a first for us.
Yeah, definitely a different vibe. But
first time here, first time performing on a couch.
Yeah. Very cool. All right, so we're gonna try to. So we had a little bit of a technical challenge to overcome, but I think now let me see what happens when I click this, and let's see. Oh, nothing happens when I click that. Why is that? So what we're going to do is I'm going to play the tracks and these guys are going to perform here in studio. I'm just trying to see why. Now that's interesting. All right. Can I drag that over? I wonder. All right. Let me do this. Sorry, everybody. We got to do this.
On behalf of the segment, I want to apologize. I came ill-prepared today.
No, it's all good. I can clean it up for the podcast. It's no big deal. But oddly enough, did that really just disappear on me? Oh. Okay.
Would you believe it's magic?
I think something positive might have just happened here. Let's see. I might have fixed the problem. This is like, this is encouraging. This is very encouraging. This is, and don't feel bad, guys, because, sometimes like we'll have a full band come in and we have to sort of live sound check on the air. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Now, strangely enough, so when I click Master Show Mixes, why do I only get one? That's weird. All right, well, let's go ahead and do that.
And if you'd like, you could try just the show mix folder as well. If there's...
Oh. Let's see here. Maybe I clicked the wrong... okay. So when I go into show mixes, then the only thing that comes up is master show mixes. Am I in the right place?
There should be some WAV files in there.
Okay, so when I click master show mixes, the only one that comes up is track 1. That's what I'm puzzled by. Why it's only showing me track 1.
Huh.
I don't know why that would be. Now, let me see something here. What happens? Oh, wait. What happens when I do that? No, it's weird. It only shows me track 1.
If it's giving you too much trouble, then if track 1 works, we can do track 1.
Yeah.
I just wonder why it would only show me that. And I have this thing like, oh, wait a minute now. Now it's giving me a zip file
Oh no.
of master show mixes. That might be a good thing. Let's see if I can open the zip file. Maybe, just maybe. No, it gives me track 1. Why would that be? That is so strange.
Technology's
Yeah.
wild.
Well, you guys want to perform track 1, and then we'll
Yeah.
talk,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
and then we'll take a break in a little bit, and I'll see if I can get more tracks to open. But all right, so I'm gonna go ahead and we'll make sure this plays here.
There it is.
There it is. Okay, should I? All right, are you guys ready?
Yeah.
We're ready.
All right, here we go.
This song title is called Kintsugi, off of our debut album together, Meet Me in Gate City. That is Cody Pope, and I am Byron G.
I turned 30 and felt I had a crack or two. People love to just sit back and laugh at you. Miraculously think that life is just gonna turn around. Same people always telling you to turn your frown. Turn it down, music loud, what neighbors? I do this for real ones and all my true players. Not no simp, thinking you flipping up quick. More like flipping bricks or cooking it like Bisquick. Shh, I had needles in my arm, money in the safe. Felt the treason from my dogs, looking funny in their face. Almost sat down for a couple for defending the turf. This planet truly hates me, I'm no friend of the earth. Trailblazing, I don't need to ride a coattail. Things I've survived are the same things that most fail. Tried to ride the waves but couldn't fix a boat sail. While y'all listen to Hope's fall, I was watching Hope fail. Broken pottery, mended with the gold dust. Never ashamed to make repairs to the old us. Cracks in our armor only show we have history. If you don't get it, it don't mean it's a diss to me. Broken pottery, mended with the gold dust. Never ashamed to make repairs to the old us. Cracks in our armor only show we have history. If you don't get it,
It don't mean it's a diss to me.
you might catch me prowling down Vine Street, or at the crib, howling at my dime piece. Might see me at the record store chilling with my niece. Every song is a capture like it's my diary. Diarrhea of the mouth, things I spit specific. They know I'm gifted like I float across the Pacific. You miss every shot that you don't take. Shoot so much you might meet me at my own wake. Wait. CB and BG like a soda in a 3-piece. Like Jordan with the 3P. CD stuck on repeat. We like the hot boys, Turk, Juvie, and BG, man. We fresh as Manny when he making beats for Weezy. Best believe me, being greedy get you left behind. Everybody meet their maker, friends with death and time. My breath is rhymes, mind crime, body shrine. Piss excellence with ease, might as well bottle up the wine. Broken pottery, mended with the gold dust. Never ashamed to make repairs to the old us. Cracks in our armor only show we have history. If you don't get it, it don't mean it's a diss to me. Broken pottery, mended with the gold dust. Never ashamed to make repairs to the old us. Cracks in our armor only show we have history. If you don't get it, it don't mean it's a diss to me. Preach.
Oh, you guys sound great.
Hey, thank you, man.
Thanks, man.
Absolutely. If you're just joining us, Cody Pope and Byron G are here with us live in studio. That was not a studio track. That is them performing live here. They're on the couch with us. And gentlemen, I have some good news if you want to keep going.
Oh, if you're going to twist my arm.
Because I'd love to hear more. Yeah, I figured out how to get that folder open.
Beautiful.
So you want just the next track?
Sure. So this track 2 is called Scary Stories. We just had this going throughout college radio in North America, and it was really cool to see how far it went. So
Excellent.
It's kind of like the first proper single from the album, if you will. So shout out to everybody that helped make this one count. It's a little more rapidy rap than the last one.
Yeah, cool. All right. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go.
Shout out to DJ Myth on the scratches.
Manchester's finest.
Yes, sir.
Yo, don't talk to me about a rapper with no book of flames. Don't look away, I'll burn the bridge with one book of flames. Shook with shame, took a look and played a crooked game. Hooks are saying, but the words you say don't mean a thing. You own your masters cause nobody wants trash. Don't flaunt that, means a label won't call back. Do something of magnitude before flexing attitude. Say you don't give it up until people are mad at you. Only positive vibes, okay, you opportunist. Surround yourself with toxic people just to push your music. Integrity and sacrifice means honor before success. Can't be neutral when people be lying to the press. Here to remind minds that rappers are actors too. What's this man's intention with all the questions he asking you? Some clearly wanna run till they fall face first. Instead of going the slow climb, set the pace first. What tastes worse when bitter friends becoming foes? With someone who plans to use against you what they know. All one and the same, all one and the equal. We both can't live, you gotta die before the sequel. Art gave me life, taking yours is not a problem. Heart plunge with a knife before they say they got him. This that I do, take every penny in breath. So no, I have no fear, I'm already friends with death. Why so serious? Cause life's so hard. Somehow, a lot of these frauds
Still left me scarred.
Trusted in people who wouldn't give me a crumb to live. Having to navigate humanity
It's dumb to live.
Still swinging, still fighting, not sure why trying. Y'all tough on song, Facebook, all crying. Probably sell your journal out for views. I'm the world's nightmare, nobody dreams of you. Preach. You guys will have to excuse me skipping out a couple phrases here and there, trying to keep it
clean,
keep it radio clean. So
yeah.
Just but I love doing this. This is really cool, man. It's also a great way for us to share the album with people. I love this.
It's great hearing you guys live in the studio like this. This is awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, it's cool.
Appreciate
It's
it.
been a while since we've got to perform or really rock these. We've been so busy with we both do like event planning and stuff like that, and we do a lot of booking of shows, and we run a record label together. So it's like it's been probably months since we've played a show. So it's nice to just even be here, kind of like flexing the muscle again.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about some of that stuff, and then if you guys want to do another track, I'd love to hear another track.
Absolutely.
In a few minutes. But yeah. Tell me about now. So Cody, I've interviewed you, I think once, maybe twice.
Yeah, I think it was
in the
once.
past.
It was like I want to say it was 2015 when you were doing Local Outbreak in Laconia.
Yeah, long time ago.
Yeah.
Now, how long have the two of you been working together? Because it sounds like you do a lot of stuff together, right?
Yeah, just over the last like 2 years now.
Okay.
We had met. We're both from Nashua, New Hampshire, so we met through like the Gate City hip hop community there.
Yeah.
And he had just sent me a couple beats, and what was going to be a couple songs turned into an album. Us doing the album turned into him coming on board to help me run the record label. And honestly, ever since we've like found this symbiosis in our partnership, things have just taken off tremendously for both of us. And
Yeah.
I think we both attribute a lot of that to the partnership, because we'd both been out
Absolutely.
here. We've been out here for over a decade on our own,
Yeah.
making waves, but not anything sustainable. And, now ever since we've put this album out, things have really opened up for us, fortunately.
Yeah. Now, do you guys always perform together at this point, or do you ever still do solo shows, or how does that work?
So he does solo shows as a producer.
Oh, okay.
So Cody Pope and Byron G, he produces all the music for us and is like composing all of that, working with any of the instrument players we work with, anything like that. And so he can go out and do like DJ shows and gigs like that, where it's like he'll go and play his beats and things of that nature. I honestly could go out and do shows without him, but we have so much fun performing together
Yeah.
that any opportunity I get to perform, I try to get him involved.
Yeah.
He's really good about supporting me live too, where, you know, when we do, I'll get offers to open for certain artists where, you know, for example, we just opened for Nonfiction a few weeks back,
Nice.
sold out at the Shaskeen. It was great.
Wow.
But anybody that's familiar with Nonfiction, that's like a really heavy, like, you know, hardcore hip hop.
Yeah.
And so some of the songs from our album are a little more soulful.
Yeah.
But, you know, I have a really deep back catalog. So he'll learn songs from my back catalog and we'll go and play. You know, we never play the same set twice, basically.
Yeah.
And he's really good about playing my old catalog songs in with the songs that we've made together now.
Okay. Okay. And Byron, did you what did you start doing first? Producing or rapping or what came first for you?
I started producing first to rap. So
Okay.
I was writing and stuff. This was, you know, back early 2000s.
Yeah.
And I wasn't real, you know, on like the YouTube find beats and stuff. So I really got Fruity Loops and learned how to produce beats basically for myself to rap over. And
Okay.
then,
Yeah.
you know, over the years, I just liked producing more and engineering, mixing, mastering, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And I kind of just didn't really write as much anymore. I kind of gave that the back seat and to focus on the other things where it was like I really was needed.
Yeah.
Because, you know, a lot of people out in this area, you know, it's easy to pick up a pen and a pad. It's, you know, it doesn't cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
And just get your thoughts out. And a lot of people didn't really have the bed to, you know, lay their lyrics down to. So I kind of took that helm and started to progress in the producing and engineering rather than the writing and stuff.
Okay. Okay. But you still do some writing, I assume, right?
Not much. I'm
Really?
getting back into
I'm trying
it
to
now.
pressure him too.
Yeah.
I tell him all the time. I go, Byron, we got to put out a rap album for you on Hellhound.
I'm working on some
Right.
stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people know, but I'm slowly getting back into it to, you know, bring something different to the table for the next projects we have coming up.
Yeah. Yeah. And you guys, tell me about the label. You started that together, the two of you?
So I started that back in 2018.
Okay.
I had started a different record label back in 2010, and I did that on my own for like 8 years.
Yeah.
Decided it was time, you know, it had run its course, closed the doors. I had also like taken some time off. This was a little before the pandemic, but the pandemic also kind of put that into motion too.
Yeah.
I had like a 3-year hiatus. And I started doing a lot of different writing. I was writing poetry. I'd written a couple screenplays for like radio screenplays.
Really?
Yeah, I got really into like old radio dramas from like the 40s and 50s and stuff like that.
wow.
And so I kind of wrote this like detective sci-fi story that takes place in Nashua in like the 50s, and I had a bunch of voice actors come, and I put like 2 years into that. And
Wow.
then I was right, you know, and that just kind of opened me up to, I love hip hop. I love everything that I do, but I want to create a label or some sort of distribution house that I can put all of my art out through.
Mhm. Yeah.
And then, so I'd spent a couple of years kind of just getting the branding right, figuring out what I was going to do next as an artist. And when he came along, it was just like I can't explain how perfect the timing was, where both of us wanted the same thing, but both of us brought the thing that the other person didn't do, where it was like, I always, you know, ever since I was a kid, pretty much, I wanted to like have a record label and be a musician and do all this stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm not an audio engineer. I don't know things about bit rates and file sizes, and, you know, distributors will ask us questions, and I'm like, oh, well, I'm going to pass that off to my man over here.
Yeah.
And, you know, so even in my like personal goals, him coming on board has allowed me to pursue my like professional goals at a rate of speed that I wouldn't have been able to without having a partner like that was like equitably invested emotionally and everything else.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, very cool. It's like fate, really. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was perfect timing for sure, because you had just released The Howling Man, and I think you were just like, all right, like, what's next? And you were throwing shows and stuff. And I had recently just really like released my first 2 instrumentals on like digital.
Yeah.
Other than that, it was just a hard drive full of stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
So joining up with him, I put out a whole basically beat tape last year.
Oh, wow.
Full album. We put it on physical on CD and sold it out. And
we've released like 7, I think it's 7 records on the label since he came on board.
Wow, no kidding.
We did 3 instrumental albums so far. We did our Meet Me in Gate City album. We did worked with a vocalist who's based out of Salem now, who is like into a little more modern style of music, and we did a project for him that Byron had curated. We have like a sampler out as well.
Yeah.
So we got super busy right from the jump, and we had a whole roster of artists that really were just ready to work. And
wow.
We got really fortunate to we're at record number 10 in our catalog. I had put out the first couple Cody Pope records on my own. So as of right now, we're going into record 11 this summer.
Wow.
And so just for that like couple years of time, you know, some of the CDs have sold out and we're on second runs. Some of them we're still kind of figuring out who the audience is and how we're going to market.
Yeah.
But this experience has been like everything that I've like wanted to do in life. And so I feel so fortunate to be kind of like fulfilling all of these ideas that I had for so many years.
That's awesome. Now, how does that work with CDs now? Because some people think that I don't know if this is true. I read somewhere that in 2022, that it was the first year that vinyl. Byron, you look like you already know where I'm going with this.
We both.
That it was supposedly the first year that vinyl actually outsold CDs.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true. But
no, I've definitely read that too. I don't know if it was 22 or 23, but one of those years it definitely has happened. And it's not to my surprise at all, you know, like. And I love vinyl too. That's the thing.
Yeah.
People get it twisted because we put so much of our catalog on CD.
Yeah.
It's just like from a consumer standpoint, a lot of the people don't understand that vinyl has insane turnaround times.
Oh my gosh.
And it's a huge labor of investment, you know?
Yeah.
And so if we wanted to put 10 records out on vinyl, that would have never happened. You know, that would have cost us tens of thousands of dollars that we didn't have access to.
Months and months and months lead time.
Yeah.
You know, instead we were able to, using CDs allowed us to get artists off the ground really quickly who didn't have a platform, but could utilize our, we had venues that we booked shows at in our own booking company. We had the record label, which our office also doubles as the studio with the ISO booth and the control room and a podcast lounge and a photo area. And so artists that came to work with us had basically all of the resources at their disposal. And so it allowed us to kind of do the artist development that we grew up seeing happen, but that clearly doesn't happen anymore.
Right.
And so it was like the artists didn't have to compromise anything. All we needed them to do was show up and create the best art they could make, not sacrifice their integrity. We would be the ones to figure out how to package it, distribute it, sell it, the whole nine. And we got really lucky. A lot of these guys had never played a show before, and now they've played throughout the Northeast. They have CDs distributed all over the country. They're making really big headways, and it makes us really proud that we got to be involved in that and still keep sight of what we want to do as artists as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, I do want to talk to you more about that, but I also want to hear another song. You guys want to do another song?
Sure.
Should we go with the next?
We'll go with track 3. So this one's called Superpowers. This one's for all the artists tuning in, whatever your medium is. You're a writer, a photographer, a painter, you're a radio DJ, whatever your thing is, that your art is your superpower. And as soon as you put that down and you stop wielding that sword every day, you lose touch with what makes you you. And so this is all about using your superpowers.
Nice. All right. Here are Cody Pope and Byron G live in studio, Superpowers.
Use your superpowers, use your superpowers. Otherwise you might wake up and find you lose your power. Use your superpowers, use your superpowers. Otherwise, you might wake up and find you lose your power. Use your superpowers. Use your superpowers. Otherwise, you might wake up and find you lose your power. Use your superpowers. Use your superpowers. Yo. Nev Campbell scramble, not knowing I'm Ghostface. Never an example of man showing the most taste. Slammed like Titanic in the midst of a boat race. Jam just like a sandwich, I'm best with bread in most case. Lee Marvin and me, always starving for a feast. Stomach grumbling, you'll have to pardon the beast. Enemies crumbling, stumbling on their speech. That's why I sharpen my knives and I land on my feet. Eartha Kitt, flow like Catwoman's balance. Some days stoic, some days of magnum heart and malice. Signals of misery, giving me vibes like Travis. Crazy but not insane, constantly wreaking havoc. Elliot Gould cool via the long goodbye. They telling me that I'm fooled for having eyes on the prize. Cries from the audience, but critics spewing lies. This life I live cinematic, buy a ticket viewing eyes. The movies understand me better than most of my friends. Songs I hear in my headphones keep me from feeling dead. Books are my favorite authors, the sponsors I never had. When art's your superpower, the monsters are never bad. The movies understand me better than most of my friends. Songs I hear in my headphones keep me from feeling dead. Books are my favorite authors, the sponsors I never had. When art's your superpower, the monsters are never bad. Nick and I, watching Nick at Night, I may be breathless. I make art from the heart that some deem reckless. In the morning, play a Love Supreme for breakfast. Before I hit the road, I leave a pearl necklace. Do I come here often? Hallucinations of grandeur. Travel far and wide, but always come back to New Hampshire. Tropic of Virgo Pope, reading Tropic of Cancer. Suspiria to any student transfer dancer. I'm Leonard Cohen, blowing smoke with parasites in heaven. A beautiful loser who music writes like confession. Staring out my rear window, a real humanitarian. Now watch him die and watch him ride like a chariot. I won't let you bury it, you won't find the bodies. Art is giving me a life that won't make time for hobbies. Days keep moving faster, doing laps like Ricky Bobby. I'm exhibited in galleries, you locked out of the lobby.
I love it. I love it. Cody Pope and Byron G are here with us in studio, live on Matt Connarton Unleashed here from WMNH 95.3 FM. And I love the positivity. I really
awesome.
do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know, that was really important for me. You know, people that know my back catalog, a lot of what got me, I you know, have a very like dark past, much like a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And so like my first few albums really dealt with me learning how to cope and recover and deal with some of the things that I had been through. And so it was incredibly cathartic music, but looking back on it, some of it is really hard to listen to. And and I can understand why, not only for me, I mean, obviously I know why it's hard for me, but I can understand why for the average listener, it's, you know, if you're in a tough spot, listening to somebody that's trying to climb out of a tough spot, you're either going to see motivation or you're going to see struggle. And so when we got together to work on music, I had always told him, I was like, one of the things that's really important for me going forward is I don't want to lose sight of how I write and how raw and vulnerable I try to keep my storytelling.
Yeah.
But I just want to show that there's like a flip side to the coin and that I've been able to turn some of these things around. Mm-hmm. And so Meet Me in Gate City, I really feel like is like the first album where I've tried to exercise that mentality of like, look, I can address that things are horrible and everything is tough, but I need to show people that I have the strength to overcome adversity, and that hopefully they will too.
Right. Yeah. No, I like that. Absolutely. If you got any questions or anything at all for these guys, the studio line is open, 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007. Again, we have Cody Pope and Byron G here with us in studio. Rhonda in the chat room, our friend from California, she says, damn, y'all got folks driving, looking at me funny because I'm popping and locking in the car.
Let's go.
Love these guys.
Awesome.
Shout out
Thank
to you, Rhonda.
Much love.
Yep. Jenny is enjoying it very much. She says, they are awesome. I love this.
Awesome. Thank you.
Let's see. Chris from the band Edgewise is asking about the label, if it's genre specific.
No.
Because he says, asking for a friend. I don't know if you guys know Edgewise. Great.
No, shout out to them. They're definitely notable around the New England culture.
Oh yeah.
And
I even wear their hat.
Right. But no, so me personally, like, I grew up in like the punk and hardcore realm. That was very much what got me into being in the music scene and caring and being as passionate about music as I am.
Yeah.
When I was like 12 years old, my sister brought me to some of my first hardcore shows, and some of my friends brought me to my first punk shows, and that just carried me through life. And so I still carry a huge love and passion for all that. And my taste is eclectic anyways. So when you look at the roster, we have a lot of hip hop on our roster, but that's also because like we're hip hop artists, and so we move in that circle, and it's easy for us to move like that. But we actually just did a record label pop-up shop at Bridge 9 Records in Boston, which is like a more like hardcore, like a kind of like a legendary hardcore label.
Yeah.
And we set up shop, and we're just talking with a bunch of other record labels and sharing game and trading records and stuff. And it's really important for us to show people the parallels that hip hop, punk rock, hardcore, metal, even like gonzo journalism, all of these different things that we like love, motorcycle culture, all these things parallel in so many different ways.
Yeah.
And it's important for our music to kind of represent a lot of that like working class ethic as opposed to just like what people expect from hip hop traditionally.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Very cool. Melanie La Liberty from the great state of Vermont, also really enjoying you guys.
Yeah, much love. Shout out to Vermont. Vermont's always been good to the Hellhound crew. Our first show this year, actually, we did. I want to say it was January. I forget what the date was, but it was snowing. It was in January. We played up at Sugarloaf Mountain. We played. They have like a little bar up there where they do some crazy hip hop shows, and so we brought everybody that was on the record label roster up there and played, and it was like one of the funnest shows we've ever done. So we got a ton of love for Vermont. Shout out to Mr. Burns. Shout out to all the Vermont crew up there.
Very nice. Yeah, Chris from Edgewise, she says, love cross promotion, will connect.
Awesome. Yeah, please.
Looking forward to
please
it.
get in touch with us. Hellhoundpublishing.com, at Hellhound Publishing. You can get a hold of us anywhere. Check out all our music. We got CD samplers that we try to put in the local record stores and stuff like that. So if you're connected to a record store and you care about physical music, get in touch with us, and we'll give you some free stuff to give out.
Yeah. Excellent. Also, Abort 7, one of our friends from Greensboro, North Carolina, checking in the chat as well. Yeah, so it's funny, I used to work for you guys remember Strawberries?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I used to work there. I worked at a bunch of different locations, but I remember people, and and then eventually it became FYE, but I remember when I worked there, and I left that company in 2013. But even then, people would come in and they'd be like, "Wow, people still buy CDs." And I mean, what do you guys think it is that in this digital age, some people still want a CD? I assume it's because if you're really a fan of somebody, you want the artwork, and all that. You just want everything that goes with it.
I think there's just so much that goes into that listening experience, where it's like you said, having the artwork, being able to open the liner notes. One thing we talk about all the time, especially me being like an old like punk and hardcore kid, is like, I learned about music through liner notes.
Yeah.
I would be finding out about bands, and I would blind buy CDs at Newbury Comics or at Strawberries off of what this band had in their liner notes. And so we try to carry that on as well and thank people from our community and artists and people that really matter to us. We try to tell the story of how the record was made. All the photography is usually done by like our team in-house. Shout out to Nicolette Ryan, my girlfriend. She did the cover for Meet Me in Gate City as well as a lot of our other albums. And so there's like that part of it. There's like the listening part of it, which is like when you put a CD in, whether you're in the car or at home cleaning the house or whatever, you're going to probably listen to it top to bottom. It's an easy play to just put on and let it skip versus having it on a digital playlist or something.
Yeah.
We're not adverse to like the digital streaming world. We jokingly, we will say that we are from time to time, but CDs have just provided a great benefit to us. Obviously they help us fund the label and fund, people understand that they're investing in keeping our label going and helping us pay these artists, even if it's a couple $100 here and there. We're investing in keeping them going and building upon their platform.
Yeah.
So that part of it's really important. And then there's just like a collectability to it too, where it's like, you know, having all of the different catalog numbers and having the CDs and which artwork are you going to display on your shelf, you know, or which one are you going to listen to in the car, you know, it creates conversation. People have to come up and talk to us at the merch table. We know who our listeners are. We have so many of the names and addresses of the people
Emails,
that support us. And so we can contact them directly and keep that line of communication open without getting lost in we're not that popular on Instagram. We don't get that many likes on a post, so no one's going to see our next video. Those things are we're always going to have to overcome that adversity.
Yeah.
But why not have this like handshake deal where it's like, you like our music, so you're going to be the first one to get it, and we're going to give it to you in the best format and the best quality that we can do.
Yeah.
And these people, you know, and the more these people buy the CDs, we're going to be able to do vinyl eventually.
Yeah,
and we'll keep expanding because we love physical media as a whole. You'll notice in the gift pack that I gave you, there's actually a book in there. We put out a book in 2021. I'm
gonna go ahead and open this now.
Yeah, go for it,
while
man.
You're talking about
yeah,
it.
definitely. Please do. We helped co-publish a book with the Underground Writers Association, and so it's a volume of all poetry of people from like New Hampshire and South Africa. So it was a really cool collaboration that the Underground Writers Association pulled together, and we got really lucky to help co-publish that. But I've always wanted to put out books, and so that was kind of like our first foray into getting the books printed and how to learn how to do all that.
This is really well sealed. By the way, Jenny, they brought one for you too, so I'll be bringing you home one of these. But I'm thinking, do you guys want to do another song?
I mean, I won't say no.
Why don't? Because I'm thinking, if you want to do another song, and while you're doing that, I'll figure out how to open.
At least we know it's secure.
Right.
Yeah.
Shout out to everyone that orders through our web store, because now you know that our packaging is secure when you get your packs in the mail.
I can attest. No, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. But yeah, I'll find something sharp to open it with. But yeah, you guys want to do? Should we go to the next track?
Let's jump to 7. I think
7.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, sorry. You think of 6?
6 is
Realness?
Six is diminished. 7 is the business.
The realness. Yeah.
I have it numbered wrong. we wrote down a different set list.
That's another reason why we make CDs. Has the track listing on the back.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah, this song, this little ditty right here is called "The Realness."
Oh, the realness. Oh, what did I said?
You said
something.
The Business.
Why did I?
That's a great title too.
Shout out to The Business, though. It's a great hardcore band.
There you go. All right. Yeah. Maybe I need to get my eyes checked. I had LASIK and everything. I'm starting to wonder. All right. So the realness, that's the one you're doing. All right. Cool. All right. Here it is. The realness. This is Cody Pope and Byron G with us live in studio.
La-di-da, 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 da-da, yeah. La-di-da, 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 la-di-da-da. La-di-da, 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 da-da, yeah. La-di-da, 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 la-di-da-da. Yo, my life is barrenness and Coltrane mixed in a blender. Most days are complicated, beautiful if I remember. Lately though, I hate me, I can't take no more Novembers. My best days was a night or two, had a bender. Thought I was moving on up like Mr. Jefferson. Yet I'm a loser who just waiting for a check again. Checking in, having hard times lately, texting friends. Got money coming, but so broke I needed second hands. My fam wants sunny days and happy songs. I can't relate, frankly, the reason that I'm laughing wrong. No, I got skill, though I be lapping y'all. Just need a path that I can successfully travel on. Babylon calling, or maybe existence burning up. I feel bad, more of my jams ain't got you turning up. Wish when I had shows, more of you was turning up. But life goes on, and hopefully we all just learn enough. Ra ra ra, the rap man yell. Boom boom boom, the bap so fell. The rawness should not deter you from the realness. That's why it's raw,
Cause you gotta truly feel this.
Rah, 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 the rap man yell. Boom, 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 the bap so fell. My rawness should not deter you from the realness. That's why it's raw, cause you
Gotta truly feel this.
to understand man is to crack the algorithm. Pieces I can formulate, but better give it rhythm. Hard to give the answer, start them off with a mission. To answer life is like an endless acquisition. Life be dishing me things my stomach can't handle. No money for no family, no pictures on no mantle. Matter of fact, my life feel pretty dismantled. I take the blame for some things money mishandled. A lot of this just feel a little circumstantial. Wondering how long I'll live with her financials. Ask for pepperoni,
They just give you anchovies.
can't stand baloney
From none of these damn homies.
Fingers to my head in the shape of a gun. Enough vitamin D, I'll have to take the sun. Wanna be a good enough man to raise a son, but I'm worried I'll be a failure if I can't raise the funds. I'm done.
Wow. I love those lyrics are fantastic.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you're just joining us, we have Cody Pope and Byron G with us live in studio here on Matt Connarton Unleashed. And for those of you watching online, I'm going to put the camera back on me for a moment because I want to. So this is the, I did get the package opened. And so this is the book that you were, the wonderful book that, oh, actually the camera's over here. The wonderful book that you were talking about, this poetry book. Very cool. So you obviously, so you don't put out only CDs.
No. We're trying to expand as much as possible. Most of our
Yeah.
music catalog is on CD right now, but
Yeah.
we try to do books. We have like podcasts on YouTube and stuff like that.
Cool.
It's really just about keeping the like giving artists of any artistic medium that fit that like raw, vulnerable storytelling. That's really,
Yeah.
I guess, if you had to give us an aesthetic, it's about just being creatively free, but still, being able to execute professionally and get that across.
Very cool. And also a copy on CD of Meet Me in Gate City, Cody Pope and Byron G. And there's the back of it there. And so you said your girlfriend did the artwork for this?
Yeah, she did the front. She did all the photography for that one as well
Oh.
as a lot of our other records too.
Cool. Yeah, I like it. Very nice. And also a sampler, a crew called Hellhound. Now, Hellhound is the name of the label, correct?
Yeah, Hellhound Publishing.
Hellhound Publishing. Yep. Very cool. Okay, so this has quite a few. How many artists do you have actively on the label right now?
So it's interesting because typically what we do is like one album at a time. So some of the artists that we've put out records for finished their album with us and are now moving on to other things. And then we have some people that are in the midst of an album cycle right now. So we probably have like five or six active artists, but then
Okay.
we have like 7 or 8 in total on the roster.
Okay.
Some of who we just at this point distribute the record that they did with us.
Okay. We have a call. I think somebody wants to talk to you guys. Hey, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Hey, Matt, this is actually you calling in. Thanks for taking my call.
Wow. This is wonderful. I always dreamt of a day where I'd get to talk to myself.
I'm curious if you remembered to pick up toilet paper or if you plan to do it on the way home. We needed to wipe our little bottom.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. I did not know that we were out, but I'm really glad that I'm really glad that I told me.
Our little bottom can get a bit messy. Sometimes it feels like we use too much of that dang stuff. Toilet paper, I mean.
Right. Toilet paper. I've never actually called
How
it.
is John Hopwood?
Oh, John
I've always thought of him as a father figure, mostly because he always tries to spank my little bottom. I never let him, but he keeps asking.
This must be an AI thing. Yes, he does. How did I know that?
I just mostly wanted to say that I am very nice and very much a sweet little boy.
Mm-hmm.
And even though my bottom gets a bit messy, I am a nice guy and someone that people love.
Aw, that's very nice. Thank me.
Oh, and one more thing. Hopwood looks like an 86-year-old toddler, and he makes us mush up bananas for him for lunch.
Well, yes, that is.
Goodbye, Matt.
Oh.
See you at home in the mirror.
Thank you. Yes. Well, very excited. I'll tell you what, that's a first for me. I've never gotten to speak to myself. Now, is it possible that someone put something into my energy drink and I just hallucinated all of that.
No, I mean, I don't know. Somebody must have put something in my something too. Then.
Yeah. Wow. That was crazy. I felt like I spoke a little bit faster just now than I usually do on the phone. Well, maybe not. Anyway, wow. All right. Well, I'm glad you guys were here for that.
Yeah, that was the first, huh?
Yeah.
That was.
Never a dull moment up in here.
That was fun. Oh, also too, in the package, just before we, so there's some stickers here and a couple of cards. Thank you for your support. Absolutely. No, you guys, yeah, I'm really impressed with what you guys are doing. By the way, how long is, I know you told me this already, I'm sure, but how long is the label? When did the label start?
2018.
Okay. Yeah, like you guys have, so that's what, 5 years? So I'm bad at math, but it seems like you guys have accomplished a lot in 5 years. That's really impressive.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I feel really fortunate. It took us a couple of years to like get it off the ground, but these last 2 years have just been phenomenal for us.
Learned a whole lot in these last 2 years.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Yeah. Bill Fee is in the chat room and says,
much love to Fee, the evolutionist, the lyrical revolutionist.
Our guy right there.
Yep. He says Cody Pope and Byron Glenn are the bomb.
Let's go.
Love the songs. Yep. And
shouts out to you, Bill.
Jenny says, ooh, I love stickers. Yes, she does.
Hey, hit us up, hellhoundpublishing.com. We'll hook you up with some stickers for sure.
Yep.
There you go. Did you guys want to do one more song before we run out of time, or?
I mean, I'm not like opposed.
Yeah,
you got one more in you?
Yeah, I'm up for whatever one you think we should do, Matt. You pick.
You want me to pick?
He said dealer's choice. Woo.
Oh my goodness.
4 and 9 are skits.
Oh, okay.
I think it's
9.
I know this is
no 9's not a skit. I think 8 is.
Oh. 9 is called Chopping Stone.
Oh yeah,
so
that's like an interlude.
Man.
Oh, okay. Or what about anthemic?
Yeah, I was either that. I was gonna say anthemic or PTSD.
Yeah,
that could be kind of cool.
So either what is that, 11 or 6?
Yeah,
6 is diminished. It says.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Is that's the right one though? Right?
Yeah, it is.
Can we do so? We don't play this song live at shows.
Oh.
This kind of goes back to when you're playing live, you got to keep a certain energy.
Yeah.
But when we wrote this song for the album, and it's a little bit of a concept song. I was really inspired. There's like an old Nas song that he does from like the perspective of the gun.
Yeah.
And I gave you power, and so I kind of took. Well, you'll figure it out by the end of the song, but I took something that I was dealing with and tried to manifest it into its own person.
Okay.
And so like throughout the song, you'll quickly pick up who PD is. The song's called PTSD.
Okay. This was track 6. I just want to make sure I grabbed the right one.
Yes,
okay,
that's
cool.
right.
All right, cool. All right, here they are, Cody Pope and Byron G live in studio.
It's been a minute since we've done this one.
I was gonna say, don't yell at me for having my cheat sheet out here.
No worries.
I just figure we never do this one,
no.
So it's cool to do it here for a little rare radio performance. Shout out to everybody holding on. I knew this cat, PTSD, he was always testy. The type to have a few drinks, say, come and test me. PD would never ever dare to be bested, even if it means his ass got arrested. Always stressing, hard to understand why. Your man will even let the hands fly on a damn fly. One of the few whom y'all never seen the man cry. Whatever you plan to do, he's probably anti. Cynical comedian at everyone's expense. Funny till it's on you, you probably on the fence. Willing to make tears so large they don't mend. Opinions so strong, my God, they don't bend. Nobody's asking, nobody know how he doing. Look like he's winning, but really inside he's losing. Maybe not the race, but the destiny that's looming. A type of hell most certain to drag you in. Man, I can't stand the man I see in the mirror. A man that demands way more and way clearer. They say life is beauty, but some days I fear her. Less fear of death, even if she be nearer. Man, I can't stand the man I see in the mirror. A man that demands way more and way clearer. They say life is beauty, but some days I fear her. Less fear of death, even if she be nearer. It hurts him to hate and fail this hard. It's worth it to wait, they want him to stall. Don't feel like he's making it to next fall. I can't take it, can't fake it at all. Debt damage, American prosperity. Doesn't say that, only the talk scarily. Life is not a dream, merrily, merrily. These days honest is something that some will dare to be. Trying to write to those who may relate. But if you feel this feeling, I hope you find real escape. Not supposed to use I as much as I do. But when I was stuck on age, didn't wanna die, dude. Life will get better, feels like another lie too. I don't wanna live in a world where I get lied to. Don't wanna misconstrue you as on my side, dude. Just awaiting the time to say goodbye, dude. Man, I can't stand the man I see in the mirror. The man that demands way more and way clearer. They say life is beauty, but some days I fear her. Less fear of death, even if she be nearer. Man, I can't stand the man I see in the mirror. The man that demands way more and way clearer. They say life is beauty, but some days I fear her. Less fear of death, even if she be nearer.
Not too shabby.
Yeah.
Well done, gentlemen. Well
Thank you.
done. I love it. I love it. Guys, we are just about out of time, so I want to make sure before we go, I want to make sure everybody knows where to find you online, where to keep up with what you're doing, your website, any social media, upcoming shows you want us to know about, anything at all, just to make sure our listeners know where to find you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having us. It's been a blast. Honored to be here. Everybody that's been tuned in, thank you guys for all the love. Once again, we're Cody Pope and Byron G on behalf of Hellhound Publishing. You can find us at www.hellhoundpublishing.com or at Hellhound Publishing across social media. You can find me personally at Cody Pope HC. That's Hellhound Crew cross platforms. And you can find Byron at BG603.
Excellent. Excellent. Do you have any shows coming up in the area?
Yeah, so next Sunday, we're going to be playing at the Nashua Farmers Market. We're actually going to be doing a 2-hour set that day. So so it's going to be a rare set for us where we're pulling out a lot of deep cuts, a lot of unreleased songs, obviously songs from Meet Me in Gate City. But yeah, it's going to be a really special performance. We haven't performed in a while now, so this is going to be a really big way for us to kick in the door. It's the first farmers market of the season for Nashua, and being some Gate City boys, we love
different
anything
vibe,
anything going on. Yeah, different audience than our usual crowd. So we really love trying to cater to those kind of events. You know, we always appreciate a good challenge, and I say that in an endearing way because you know, the non-hip hop listener is different than the people that are going out of their way to take it in. So we always try to challenge ourselves to put on an extra special show that will welcome everybody graciously, hopefully.
And I think what you guys do is accessible in that way anyway.
Thank you. That's really our goal.
Yeah, absolutely. Wonderful to have you guys on today. Cody Pope, Byron G. Thank you guys so much. Let's do this again, and let's not let another 6 years or 8 years or whatever go by.
Absolutely. We're 25 minutes down the road. You say when, and we'll be here, man. Thank you so much for having us. Yeah, man. Absolutely. Thank you guys. And hey, if you missed any part of today's show, it will be up in just a little bit at WMNHradio.org and at my website, mattconnerton.com. If you are listening live on Tuesday, right after this show is Through the Stage Door with Rob Dion. And then coming up at 7 p.m. is a replay of Retrospectrum Radio if you missed it. All right, Brooklyn Mike is on the line, and he always gets in right at the end, but we always have time for Brooklyn Mike. Brooklyn Mike, how are you?
Hi. Good, Matt. Real quick, I know you got to close out the show. I just want to say these guys are awesome. Excellent lyrics, great positive message. Keep doing what you're doing. You know, I'm not generally a hip-hop fan, but, you know, as a musician and singer and songwriter, good music is good music, and these guys are doing it right.
Oh, man, thank you so much. That means more to us than we can say. Thank you.
Thank you, Brooklyn Mike.
You're welcome. Keep up the great work, guys. Matt, I love you. I'll talk to you later.
All right, you too, man.
Much love.
Thank you. Bye-bye. All right, the great Brooklyn Mike. All right, gentlemen, thank you again so much. And that's it for us for now. We'll talk to y'all a little bit later. Bye, everybody.